Kakadosh, Erev Tov, good evening. We are continuing with Masechet Moed Katan Daf Yudalid, but we're going to start, which is 14, but we're just going to start with Yimil Amud Bet, 13b on the bottom, the new chapter, the new Perek Shlishi, the third chapter. It says in the Mishnah, Velu Megalchim Moed. These are the people that are allowed to come and they're allowed to take haircuts on Chol Moed. Haba Mimdinat Hayam. If somebody comes during the Moed from Mimdinat Hayam, from the diaspora, okay, we bet Shivya, or he was taken in captivity and then he was liberated, he was let free. Hayotzemi bet Surin, those that were let out of jail, even if it's in the same city. Somebody that was in nidui, excommunication, that the rabbis permitted his excommunication. Or somebody that made a neder before the Moed not to take a haircut, and then he asked the rabbi in order to do a tarat nedarim v'utar, and it was permitted for him now to do the haircut. That Nazir, or a Nazir that finishes his 30 days on Chol Moed, the Metzorah, or the Metzorah mitumato l'taroto, when it becomes from Tameh to Tehora. So all of these people, since they weren't able to do it from Erev Yom Tov, they're allowed to do it on Chol HaMoed. So this is to do with Tiglachat, which is Tisporet, haircutting. Next part of the Mishnah, Velo Mechabzin. Now we're going to talk about the people which are allowed to do Kivisa. What is Kivisa? Laundry, right? Where he's allowed to wash their clothing. The same thing, coming from the diaspora, from the captivity, coming out of jail. Yudalet on the top, 14 on the top. Right? The menudeh that they permitted him, that means he was in excommunication, they permitted it to him, or he asked for the chacham, because he made a neder, and then they did a tarat nedarim, l'utar. Okay, so until here, everything was the exact same. Okay, which is basically, until here, it was word for word the exact same. So the only difference now is Nazir and Metzorah, which we don't bring in. Okay, now it says mitpechot hayadayim, right? Hand towels. Mitpechot saparim, towels for the hair cutters. Mitpechot svag, or towels that they use for the body, for the in order to wash your body, to dry your body. Hazavin, towels in general. As you said, each one was giving you a different title for it. Zavin v'zavot midot ve'yoldot. So here now he comes. And it adds on. Before we only had the Nazir and the Metzorah, because those are the ones that they have to leave their hair long, right? But now all of a sudden, since we're talking about washing the body, now we're talking about a Zav. Remember, a man that has a seminal discharge when the membrane is dead, when the organ is dead. Zavot, which is a sickness to the women that she's seeing a period not at the normal time. Hanidot, Anida, and Ayoledet. Are all the people which are going from Tumah Tahara. All these people, all these four people, since they have emissions or ejections from their body, things come out of their body, so therefore they permitted them to wash themselves because it's not zelonaim. It's not nice. So what? They just had this, and you're going to tell them you can't take a shower. You can't. So they're allowed to arelu mutarin. They're permitted to wash their clothing on Chol Moed. Ushar kol adam asurim, and everybody else is going to be prohibited. Okay.
We don't follow.
Says the Gemara, what's the reasoning in general? We just said that you're allowed to come and wash clothing, and we gave the rules, who's allowed to wash clothing. The Gemara asks, why be'emet is it asur to wash clothing on Chol Moed? What's the isur? Why are they prohibited, right, in washing the clothing or taking haircuts? Because there were two halachot brought down, haircuts and washing clothing. So what's, yeah? Is we learned the Mishnah. Anshe Mishman. We learned this in Masechet Ta'anit. Anshe Mishman and Anshe Ma'amad. The people of the Mishmarim, the Mishmarot, yeah, and Anshe Ma'amad of the Ma'amadot. Asurin l'saper u'chabes. They're not allowed to come and to take haircuts or wash their clothing during that week, in order that they shouldn't come in disgusting into that week, if you remember. But on Thursday, Yom HaChamishi, it's going to be permitted. Why? Mipnei chevod Shabbat. Because of the kavod of Shabbat. Says Rabbi my time, what's the reasoning? In order that they don't come into the mishmeret when they are disgusting. Which means like this. Everyone during the week, you're working. So imagine, you're running around, you're doing all these things. It comes Yom Tov. So on Yom Tov, nobody works on Yom Tov. So you have to try to get everything done before Yom Tov. Chol Moed, you're not allowed to work. So now people are going to say, you know what, 1 second. Now I'm too busy. Yeah, I'm delivering croissants and bags and this and that. I'm too busy. I have no time. So what am I going to do? I'm going to wait until Chol Moed. Yeah? And Chol Moed I'm going to take a haircut. I'm going to take wash my clothing. I'm going to, but then 1 second, but then you came into Yom Tov and you look like a mess. You understand? So because of that, they said, Chol Moed Asur. And you're going to tell me it's Asur on Chol Moed to do laundry and to take haircuts. So now nobody's going to, also not on the Chag and also not on Chol Moed, not the next Chag. It's too much. So then they have to do it before. So it purposely caused it that they were going to be able to do it beforehand. Now says the Gemara, Rabbi Zera comes and he asks the following question: what happens if a person lost something at a regel? And because he lost that thing, he's looking for his lost object, he doesn't have time to start looking and to start taking a haircut or washing his clothing. Given the anis, since he's force majeure, mutar, is it permitted for him to come and now take haircuts and wash your clothing? Or Dilmar, maybe nobody knows. Meaning, how do I know that you lost something and that you're looking, you lost a tick, right? And and because of that, they're running around from one place to another place to find whether it is that they use the credit cards, didn't use the credit cards, they use the phone, didn't use the phone. How am I going to know? I don't know. So maybe it's going to be prohibited still. So Abaye says, Yomru, they're going to say what? All the people that they do, right, the matzot mitzuyarot is going to be asur on Pesach, but the ones of baitus is going to be permitted, which means they were giving an example, meaning that all the people from this side of the synagogue is prohibited, all the people on the other side of the synagogue is permitted. It doesn't make sense. So then they're going to start saying, what's going on? Why was he allowed to take a haircut? They don't know that he lost something, and now because of that he was running around trying to find it. They don't know that. So ultamech, and according to your reasoning, Hadam Rabbi Yasi, Rabbi Yochanan, that which Rabbi Yasi and Rabbi Yochanan comes and they said, says if somebody only has one clothing, they're allowed to wash it on Chol Moed. So Hatanami, the same halacha, right? Yomru, everyone's going to start saying, everybody's permitted and he's permitted. They're going to say, what is this? Favoritism, right? There's no such thing as favoritism, no? Yeah? There's no such thing as favoritism. No favoritism. Everything, it's one or the other. Yeah, hok ze hok for everybody. Everybody is made of the same thing. So says the Gemara, Hayit Maralai was stated, Amar Mor Bar Ravashi, Ezoro Mochiach Alav. No, his belt is going to be Mochiach, because since he only has one clothing, so they see him the way that he's doing it, they know that he doesn't have another clothing. Meaning they used to take it off and he used to have like a under type of a clothing. So they see that he's only going with clothing. If he had another clothing, he would have another clothing, and then you would be washing that. And then you could say that. But here, no. He only has that one clothing. So because of that, he's washing it. So that's mochiach, that you know that he's not doing it just stam. He doesn't have something else. Ravashi came and he taught by Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Zera asked the following question. Uman shavdalo aveda Rabbi Regel ma'u. What's the halacha if an uman, that's a craftsman, right? He comes and he lost an Avedai Rabbi Regel. What is halacha? Do we say that since it's an uman, muchaminta, so if it's nikar to everybody that he's nenas and he's not, why? Because everyone needs him. And he's running around, meaning that everyone's coming to get him to do something. And he says, sorry, I'm looking for something. So that means everyone knows about it. So everybody knows that the guy was running around looking for something. Odilmar, do we say, Kevin de lo muchaminta kianach, since it's not muchaminta anymore, right, like this. No, we don't say that then. So teku, we don't have an answer. Yeah, we don't have an answer. No, but we don't have an answer. We don't know. Yeah, teku. Teku means we don't have an answer. Okay? Yeah. Okay? Next. If somebody comes from the diaspora. So matznitin de lo ke Rabbi Yehuda. So obviously our Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yehuda. Titania was learned in the Braita. Rabbi Yehuda says, somebody that comes from Dinat Hayam, he should not come and start cutting his hair. Why? Because he went out without permission. So the fact that he went to Medinat Hayam, to the diaspora without permission, so therefore that's why he's not allowed to come and he's not allowed to cut his hair. Rava comes and he says one second. Lashut, if he just went stam, letayel ba'olam, he wanted to go to, where do they all go? They go to Turks and Caicos. He goes to all these places. That's shoot. So then, according to everybody, it's going to be a suit. Yeah. So he says, imle mizonot. If it's going to be for mizonot, divrei kol mutar. According to everybody, it's going to be permitted. Lo nechleku la larvacha. What is the machloket? Larvacha. to make money, right? Why? More medamalik kalashut, but some people say that it's considered like you're going around the world making millions. Instead, you're just being matayel. So also you're trying to make money. More medamalik kalashut. The other one says, no, that's your parnasa. So parnasa is permitted. You're allowed to go for parnasa for purposes. Okay? So maybe they're going to ask the following question. Amar Rabbi says, Nirin divrei Rabbi Yehuda k'sheyatza shelo birshut. It appears the words of Rabbi Yehuda when he went out without permission. The nirin, and therefore, right, and it appears, right, the words of Chachamim that is going to be permitted when he went out with permission. Meaning that if he went out with permission, so then he should be able to be permitted to come and to start cutting his hair and doing all those things. But if you went out without permission, then no. So what does it mean, shelo birshut? What do you mean that he went out without permission? If you're going to tell me that he went out lashut, stam, to be mitayel in the world, but Marta, you just said according to everybody it's a suit. Ve'ela, but rather, mizunot, it's for parnasa. But you just said if it's parnasa, everybody said it's mutar. Ela pshita, but rather larvicha. Obviously, we're talking about making revach. You're trying to make money. And if you're trying to make money, that's what we said that we paskin like Rabbi Yehuda, that it's going to be prohibited, right? If when he comes back from on Chol Moed. So ema seifa, but let's see the latter part of the Mishnah now. It says nirin divrei chachamim k'shetza b'rishut. It looks like the words of the chachamim when they came out with permission. What does it mean permission? If you're going to tell me it's for mizonot, for parnasa, you told me that according to everybody it's permitted. If you told me it's to make money, you said it looks like a Rabbi Yehuda. So then, how do you paskin? We're obviously talking about you're making money. If it's l'tayel stam, according to everybody asur. If it's for parnasa, according to everybody it's mutar. If it's to make extra money, so that was a machloket. You just told me that it appears like Rabbi Yehuda, and now you're telling me it appears like the rabbis. A contradiction. There's a problem here. So he says, Hachi Kamar, this is what it means to say. It appears Rabbi Yehuda to Rabbanan when they went out without permission. And what is that? Lashut. There's even Chachamim that they don't argue on it, it's only Larvacha. But Lashut, but to do stam, being metayel, module, they agree that it's going to be asur. And it appears the words of the Chachamim to Rabbi Yehuda when they came out with permission. Umarit's permission, mizonot. Because even Rabbi Yehuda only argued to make extra money. For parnasa, everybody agrees. Okay? Nekuda. Amar Rava, Amar Shimon says, Katan anolad b'moed, mutar legolech b'moed. When you have a child, okay, that is born, and he's born on the Chag, so on Chol Moed you're allowed to come and cut its hair.
When he's what? 3 years old?
No. Mamash, Katan.
Anytime.
So it says here, it's got, yeah, exactly, because it's got long hair. So here it says in the footnote, that for different reasons they would have to do it. They would have to come and they would have to cut the hair or whatever it is. Sometimes they have to do whether it's, they would have to cut the hair for whatever reason. It would be permitted, right? So he says, there's no better surim bigger than this, which means the guy was in the mother's stomach. The mother's stomach is the biggest jail, no? Yeah. When a person is in the mother's stomach, it's the biggest jail. So therefore, he came out of jail. Now he's allowed to come and he's allowed to what's it called? He's allowed to take a haircut. Yeah, when you're born. Yeah.
You see someone cutting hairs when
no, but sometimes it can happen that, for example, they have to do a Caesar, they have to do a type of a surgery or whatever it is. Now, many times when they do surgery, they can do surgery where there's hair, so they have to remove it and then they have to, do different things. So when it's a necessity, there's no problem. That's what we're saying over here. Okay. Or here it's actually mashma that it's just excessive hair that it's bothering, causing him pain. Obviously, if it was going to be for a mamasha surgery or obviously that would be permitted. So the Gemara says, "B'moedin yikaralov." That's only if he was born in the moed. But if he was born before the moed, so then no. Why? Because he should have done it beforehand. So Mati Rav Pinchas, kol elu shamru mutar legalech. Everything that we just said that they're allowed to do in the moed, mutar legalech b'me'avlo, which means anything which is permitted during chol moed is permitted during avelut. Ha'asul legalech b'moed, but if it's prohibited during chol moed, it's prohibited asul legalech b'me'avlo. It's prohibited to do it during avelut. Right? Yudalad Amubet, 14b. Now says the Gemara, now if you're going to tell me katanit beplukta, that there's a machloket to do with a katan, so now it comes out that avelut is going to be no hege katan. There is avelut for a katan. Latanya, I thought we said mekarin le katan nefesh. Meaning this is a very famous question. Somebody passes away and they have small children. Are they obligated to tear the clothing? Are they obligated? Somebody passes away. Do they have to tear the clothing to the child, to his son, to his daughter? So the halacha says no. The halacha is they don't have to do it, but they still do it. Why do they do it? Ogman nefesh, meaning when somebody comes and they have to tear clothing for a little child, it causes everybody else to cry. That's why we do it. Ogman nefesh of everybody else. Because the child himself, he's not obligated. He's not obligated. Even if for a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 10-year-old even. Okay, yeah, lechinuch, maybe, but he's not obligated in Avilut. They still do it. Why do they do it? Ogman nefesh. That way the people should, they feel, look at this. He's scanned, the little child he's already in Avilut. Mekarin lekatan, mipnei ogman nefesh, because of ogman nefesh. So what does it say over here? So it says here that the katan is not obligated in Avilut. So Ravashi miktani ha'asurin. Then we say this, right, which is asur. Din ma yesh men asur. Maybe there's some of them which are asur, and some of them are mutar, which means sometimes you have a case where it's going to be asur to do it also during Avilut, and sometimes you're going to have a case where it's going to be permitted even during Avilut. So therefore, when the katan was born before the Moed, you're not allowed to cut his hair on the Moed, even though in Dine Avilut, there's no Avilut for a child. So Amimar Vitim Rav Shisha B'Red Ravidi, Amimar, and some people say it was Rav Shisha B'Red Ravidi, Matniachi, they talk like this. Says Shemuel, Katan mutar legal chomod. You're allowed to cut the hair of a katan in Moed. Lo shnan olav, doesn't matter when he was born. You could always cut the hair of a child. Amar Pinchas says Pinchas. We also learned it in the Mishnah, in the Braita. It says Kol elu shamnu shemutar legalech mutar legalech b'mevlo. But if you're not allowed to do the haircut on the Moed, you're not allowed to do the haircut during the Avilut. If you're going to tell me that the katan is going to be asur to cut his hair, so instead of no give a katan, it comes out that a katan, there's avilu by a katan. The Tanya we learned mefurash in a braita, mekarin lekatan. The only reason why we tear the clothing of a katan is because of ogman nefesh, not because be'emet there's avilut for a katan. So Ravashi says mi katani, the same thing is going to answer. Mi katani asurin dilma yesh men. Well, we said everything is asur. Maybe some of them are asur, some of them are mutar. Fine. But for sure, there's no avilut in the regel. Why not? Meaning, according to everybody, if you remember, we said that the regel is mafsik ve'eno ole. It does a pasek. Yeah, you know what a pasek is. Yeah, a pasek. Yeah, and then, right, it does a pasek. That's it. But it doesn't count. Why not? Because there's no avilut in the regel. Why is there no avilut in the regel? You have to be happy in your chag. Right, you have to be happy. No, sad. Yeah. So he says, if it's an avelu which is beforehand, so then it's going to be a mitzvah to say of the rabbim, which is the regel, and it's going to push away an aseh of the avelut. And if it's an avelut of right now, which means that it happened after it already started the regel, so his personal mitzvah cannot push off the mitzvah of the public. Samachta bechagecha is of the public. A personal mitzvah cannot push off the public mitzvah. Okay? Menudeh mahu. What's halacha to do with a person that's menudeh? Menudeh means that he's in nidui. What's halacha to do with being noheg nidui in the regel? Is it going to be permitted in the Moed because of, right, or is it going to be permitted or prohibited? So Amar of Yosef says of Yosef, Tashema, Danin Dine Nefashot, Dine Makov, Dine Mamonot. On Chol Moed, you're allowed to judge things which are Dine Nefashot, Dine Makot, Malkut, and Dine Mamonot. Money matters on Chol Moed. If he doesn't listen to the judgment, we put him in Nidui. We put him in how do you call it? Excommunication. Okay? If you're going to tell me that there's no nidui in the regel, somebody that's already in nidui before the regel, so then the regel should come and push it off. So one second. A person was already in nidui beforehand. Can you take away the nidui on the regel? Yes. So then kal vachomer, you're not going to put somebody lechatchila into nidui in the regel. It doesn't make sense. Why in the world would you make somebody's life miserable during Chag? And therefore you're going to put them in the regel like this. So Abaye says, right? How do we know that we actually come and we're going to put him in excommunication? Right? He says maybe over here the kavanah is we're only going to start looking into the psak din. We're going to say that. What, you really think that we kill somebody on Chol Moed? We would never judge somebody and kill somebody on Chol Moed. What's wrong? So it says Visa, you're going to tell me eno noheg. So we're talking about now about that. Obviously, if we're going to say that we don't want the nidui in the regel, because we're going to take it out, so then obviously we're not going to put somebody in the nidui. So the same thing is to do with killing. Dilo time, if it's not that, well, you really think you're going to kill somebody on the Chol Moed? You're taking away from Simchat Yom Tov. The Tanya was learned in a right that Rabbi Kiva says, if Sanhedrin kills, they're not allowed, they do ta'anit the entire day. It means if somebody was killed in a bedin that day, nobody eats. You're not allowed to eat on the blood. So they learn it also literally. What does that mean? You're not allowed to eat when you spill blood. So the day that they kill someone, everybody in ta'anit. Yeah? So it says, Ella, but rather, Luyune Bedina, it means you have to be Me'ayen Batin. They come, they start looking into the judgment. Yes, no, but not that they actually judge, because if not, it's a problem. Achanami, so to hear, Luyune Bedina, they're just going to look into the judgment. Amalei, so Rav Yosef comes and he tells Abayim, if so, so now you're Me'akevet Adin. There's halacha that you're not allowed to wait back, and because you're keeping him in suspense, right? And you're killing the guy. Sometimes they come and they purposely do that. Meaning they come, they start, interrogating, and then they leave the guy in suspense. And then the guy's not sleeping, and he's not eating, and he's not drinking, and the guy he just doesn't know what to do with himself anymore. So all those things is a problem. So he says, right, come in the morning, right, and you're going to be ma'ayin of the din, and then you're going to go, right, and you're going to eat and drink the entire day. Then you're going to come and they're going to finish the katlul, and then they're going to kill him. But that's chayam mitah. So it comes out that what are we learning? We're learning that in the morning they have to come. They used to go eat and drink or whatever it is. But then afterwards they used to come to the bedin and shkiat chama, and then they used to finish it off, and then they would kill him. That he was chayav mitah. So Amar Abaye comes and he says, Tashama, we learn from here. Umenudeh shehitiru lo chachamim. What are we talking about? The menudeh that the chachamim they permitted it. So Amar Rava comes and he says, Mi ketani, did we learn shetiruhu chachamim? Shetiru lo chachamim ketani. Which means the Azal Vaisabade, he went and he appeased those that went against him, right? The Ati Kamed Rabbanam Shalom, and therefore they went, which means of this. He went to a Bedin, and the Bedin said, you have to pay up. The guy says, I'm never going to pay. So what do the Bedin say? You're never going to pay? No problem. Nidui. They sign. Nidui, excommunication. Now he goes to the guy and he appeased him. Whether he paid him or he did something else or whatever it is. So now he's calmed down. Now he goes back to the rabbis. He says, okay, fine, I appeased him. Okay. So now they take him out. Now they're able to do that. So Mitzorah Mahu, what is the Mitzorah? Shinhog Tzarato Beregel, that he's going to have Tzarat in the Regel. Now, if he was already Tzarat before the Regel, so he's not allowed to do anything. It actually pushes off that he continues into the Regel. He continues into the Chag. So says the Gemara, Lo mi baya kama. Lo mi baya b'metumato delonahi. Not only if it's going to be in this tum'ah that he's not, we are going to say that he's permitted to come because the moed does push off the mitzorah, but to do with the purification process, nigzor, we should make a gezerah. Shema yashek korbanot. Maybe he's not going to bring the korbanot immediately. Kamashmanan comes to teach you, right, that we're not going to make such a gezerah, that he's not going to bring the korbanot immediately, and therefore he's allowed to do it. And therefore, even in the moed, there is the concept of mitzorah. So Amar Rava says, Tashma, we learn from here that tzarua. What is that tzarua? L'rabot Kohen Gadol. It says here, even the Kohen Gadol, there's dinei tzarat. The Kohen Gadol, so 1 second, but the Kohen Gadol, every day the Kohen Gadol is like a regel for him. It's like a chag for him. Titzram, as we learned in the Mishnah, Kohen Gadol makriv onen. Kohen Gadol is the only one that he brings as an onen. Onen, right? That means right when a person passes away before the burial. It's called onen. So an onen is not allowed to do any mitzvot. The Kohen Gadol does. Why? Ve'eno ochel, and he doesn't eat from the korbanot. Meaning he brings it, but he doesn't eat. So shemamina noheg tzarato beregel. So we learn from here that also there is going to be a concept of tzaraat in the regel. Because just like the Kohen Gadol, there is tzaraat, even though he brings it in aninut and he does all these things, there's still tzaraat by a Kohen Gadol. There's a Kohen Gadol, even though for him it's like every day is a regel. So to hear there's tzaraat on the regel. Okay, avel asu b'tisporet. An avel is not allowed to take a haircut. Since HaKadosh Baruch Hu told the children of Aaron, you have to leave your hair long, right? Sorry, you're allowed to cut your hair. which means that you're not allowed to leave it long. Okay, miklal dechulim. Other people, they have to leave it long. They're allowed to come and they're allowed to cut their hair. And then menudim mitzurim, we're going to ask about the menudeh and the mitzurah. What is the halacha regarding that?